Today on Judge Faith, buying an engagement ring online may make one of these couples pay the price.
We never received the ring that you were supposed to design for us. You sent us something wrong.
They'll give you either the exact same ring, or we'll give you a store credit for the amount for anything in our store.
And why wouldn't you give them a refund?
Because of all the money that we had already put into this ring.
Because of your own mistakes.
And later, who's right and who's wrong in this fight over unpaid rent?
Do you have a copy of the lease, sir?
The one I tried to get in touch with my landlord to get it. It was really like she just gave me the runaround. I couldn't get a secure copy of the lease.
So you don't have a copy of the lease?
No.
Also, it's kind of hard for me to pay rent and then also got to feed a woman that looks like Fiona from Shrek and then feed a man that looks like Shrek. I'm sorry, I'm not built out of money.
Faith Jenkins. Her distinguished legal career began when she graduated first in her law school class. She quickly became a tough New York City prosecutor, and then a preeminent legal analyst on cable news. And now she's the judge in her own courtroom. Her cases are real, and her rulings are final. She is Judge Faith. Plaintiffs Karen Walker Harvey and Noelle Cruz say the engagement ring they ordered from the defendant's website didn't look anything like the advertised pictures and wasn't what they wanted. They are suing for the refund of an engagement ring. Defendants Alexis and Steve Bello say they offered the plaintiff store credit in place of a refund, but the plaintiff refused the offer. They claim the plaintiff posted negative reviews online and are countersuing for defamation of character.
Remain seated and come to order. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding. Your Honor, this case is Cruz Walker Harvey versus Alexis Bello.
Thank you, Barbara. Noelle Cruz?
Yes.
And Karen Walker Harvey?
Correct.
You are suing the defendants Alexis and Steve Bello for $5,590, the refund for an engagement ring you say you purchased from them?
Correct.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you are countersuing for $1,500 for defamation of character?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so do the two of you own an online jewelry store, or is it an actual physical store?
Well, we have a physical store, but this was taking place
This is
on
an
a
online
website.
purchase?
Online.
Okay, and who has the ring now?
I do.
Okay, wonderful. So we'll start with you, Mr. Cruz or Miss Walker Harvey. Tell me what happened.
Well, we started looking at engagement rings online on Craigslist, and we found a ring that we really liked that just so happened to be from a jewelry store. So we decided to contact the jeweler and ask some questions about it, like, do you have matching wedding bands? You know, just other details about the ring.
What made you want to shop online for an engagement ring? Did you have certain reservations about doing that?
We were looking at local people who are reselling their rings after a divorce, so, you know, that's what we were looking for. But we found a design that we absolutely fell in love with, and it just so happened to be at an online jeweler.
So tell me about what you saw online. You went to their store that's online, so you look at photos of a ring online and you like what you see?
Absolutely.
Okay, and so you then place the order. Did you ever speak to them before placing the order, or did you just do it all online, make the purchase, and they sent you the ring?
Well, there was a phone call between Karen and Alexis about the ring online, asking some questions, and then from then on forward, we did a lot of, a lot of email exchanges between us.
Before you purchased the ring?
Before we purchased the ring. It wasn't until May that I actually sent an email saying, here is, the order that we want. Can we still get it at this reduced price? Because they were advertising it at 14% off, I believe.
Okay, what was the advertised price for the ring?
$38.90.
$38.90. Okay, what was the issue the first time they sent you the ring?
We got the ring, and the design was exactly as it looked like in the picture, except there was no shine, no sparkle, no life to this ring, not like what was described in the photograph. We brought it to a jewelry store to see the sparkle, and she says any ring's going to sparkle in a jewelry store. So we brought it to the jewelry store, and we compared it with the exact same stones, the exact size stones that were VS2, and our ring did not compare at all. So I contacted the defendant and asked her, why would that be? And she said she put in SI1 stones, which is a grade or 2 below. Okay. And she had offered to fix it for an additional $350 until I pointed out the ad for the ring was for VS2 stones.
Okay, so when you got the ring, it had lower grade stones than what was advertised in the ad, correct?
Well, here's the thing. With diamonds, I mean, you can get, somebody can tell you they're VS2. Even my diamond supplier will sell me VS1. And when I bring it to my appraiser, he's going to say, no, they're VS2, they're SI1.
Subjective.
It's sort of by an expert eye, right? Okay. And that's how they can tell the quality of a diamond.
But I agreed to change the stones
to change the stone and upgrade them.
I did upgrade the stones.
And did you pay extra for that?
We did not.
So the first time you sent the ring back, you changed the stones.
I upgraded the stones to VS2.
And then you sent it back. Mm-hmm. Okay, and what happened when she sent it back to you?
That ring was a lot shinier, more improved. However, it still did not look like the photo that's supposedly stunning, beautiful. It had no character, not like the photo of the ring online.
Do you have a photo you want to show me?
Excuse me, she said the first ring was exactly as pictured.
The design was the same with the bows and the round part, but the diamonds themselves look nothing like what you show on your website.
So what is this a photo of? Whose photos are these and what am I looking at?
The photo on the right is the photo that we took of the first ring that we received. Mm-hmm. The one that, you know, we are saying is dull and lifeless. And we returned. The one on the image on the left is the photo from their website.
Mm-hmm. We never received the ring that you were supposed to design for us. You sent us something wrong.
We didn't want it because 3 times now we've received.
Hold on a second, because I want to take this step by step so I understand.
Coming up on Judge Faith.
So what are you talking about?
Because we had 2 different CADs made at that time.
So you sent them the wrong ring?
Yes.
Yeah.
And whose fault is that?
And later, these roommates fight over rent.
It's kind of hard for me to pay rent and then also got to feed a woman that looks like Fiona from Shrek and then feed a man that looks like Shrek. I'm sorry, I'm not built out of money.
Plaintiffs Noelle Cruz and Karen Walker Harvey say that the engagement ring they ordered didn't look anything like the advertised pictures, and they are suing for a refund. Defendants Alexis and Steve Bellows say they offered the plaintiff store credit and owe nothing more.
You, at some point, pay for an upgrade.
After she reassures us that it will not be considered custom and void the return policy,
I understand
we paid
that.
$1,700 more for larger side stones.
Okay, that was the second time.
No, this was after we returned the second ring. This is the creation of the third. We wanted bigger side stones and to get rid of the millwork that makes it look vintage and make it more modern.
So before they returned the ring the third time, you pay $1,700 for the upgrade. So she pays the $1,700. What work do you do on the ring at that point?
We increased the side stones from 0.50 to a full 1 carat.
The metal
weight was increased as well. I mean, we had to redo the whole CAD design, which is 8 hours at least.
And how long?
In work.
8 hours of work.
Number 2.
Okay, so what happens when you get the third ring? What do you say to them?
We say, this is not acceptable. We did not order this ring. We have guidelines right here stating what we custom made, what they agreed to, and we did not get what we paid for.
Your Honor, I have the ring right here.
And what happens, because I see you respond, and you say, they say, you know what, we want our money back. We have this third ring. It's not what we asked for, and at this point, we want our money back. And you respond and you say, this is not the correct ring. You're going to have to talk to your staff.
That's right.
You respond and you say, I'm positive this is not the ring I produced for you.
Absolutely.
So what are you talking about?
Because we had 2 different CADs made at that time.
So you sent them the wrong ring?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much so.
The
That's
wrong
what
ring
happened.
was casted.
And whose fault is that?
That was our fault, and we admitted that, and we were willing to do it all over and recast the metal at our cost and give them the ring exactly the way they wanted it.
So the question now that I have to decide is, what are you owed for labor? Because I'm not going to order them to take that engagement ring. It's an engagement ring. They should get what they wanted. You did say you sent them the wrong ring, so I'm not going to order them to take that ring. But by the way, you have a $1,500 defamation of character counterclaim. What's that about?
Well, she posted on our Facebook. She went to reseller ratings and posted negative information. And
before we had a chance
we never even really had a chance to resolve anything.
How was your reputation damaged, and do you have proof of that?
Well, we have the postings that she...
I can't get that. I can't get it all.
So the fair thing to do in this case, I'm going to order you to refund the plaintiffs the cost of the first ring before you did all the work. The remainder of that money that they paid you, you can use that for labor. I'm going to order you to refund them $3,890 plus their court costs. Good luck.
Plaintiff Christopher Cole says he and the defendant moved into a 3-bedroom apartment together, but was forced to evict the defendant because he quit paying his rent. The plaintiff is suing for overdue rent and utilities. Defendant Tariq Allen says he never signed a lease when he moved into the apartment, and that there was a mutual agreement that he would pay his rent with food stamps. He is accompanied by his witness, Keontae Reynolds.
Christopher Cole?
Yes.
You were suing the defendant, Tariq Allen.
Yes.
For $3,500 you say he owes you for unpaid rent and utilities?
Yes, Your Honor.
You brought a witness with you today, sir, Miss Keontae Reynolds?
Yes.
How are you?
I'm fine, and yourself?
Good. Mr. Cole, we'll start with you. When did the two of you first move in together?
We moved in November of 2012, exactly.
And how long did he live with you?
1 year, about 6 months.
1 year and 6 months?
Yes.
So what month and year did he move out?
Around May of 2014.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning. How do you know Mr. Allen? How did the two of you meet and become roommates?
Oh, we met junior year in high school. We went to high school together, finished graduation. We always hang out. You know, we started working at a warehouse together and everything. We just friends. Like, he's like family, brother. Pretty much after that, we figured, oh, well, it was so much to do out here. We might as well get a place together, you know, live it up, you know. So after that, we decided, you know, let's get a place, you know, just go for it.
Where were you living at the time?
I was living with my mother prior to that. And it's like, we decided from there, he moved to my house. From there, it was like, why we gotta listen to all these rules? Let's get our own place. We do what we want to do. So
instead of living with your mother and having rules,
yeah, we decided to move with each other and do what we wanted to do.
Okay, all right, live it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what kind of place did you get, and were you all on a lease, or what was the arrangement?
No, originally it was supposed to be us three, but we couldn't really run Tariq's credit. You know, I didn't want any.
Three. Hold on for a second. You say there were supposed to be three of you?
Yes.
Who's the other person?
Mr. He's not here, but
okay.
Me and Tariq decided we're gonna get a place. You have to go do background checks and everything. We really didn't want to run any risk of being denied the apartment, so we decided.
What do you mean by you didn't want to run a risk of putting him on the lease? Risk of not getting the apartment?
Yes, yeah.
Why? What was the issue?
Because he didn't really have any credit or any type of employment history validated that it really can help get us into the apartment.
Did the landlord know that he would be moving in with
yes,
the two of you?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So what kind of apartment was it? How many bedrooms and bathrooms?
It was a 3-bedroom, if you can call it that. It was sort of small, but it was, you know, cozy, if you could say that.
Okay, okay. Mr. Allen.
Yes.
You're comfortable, or you want to stand up straight for me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Just give me some background and tell me how you ended up moving in with Mr. Cole and your other friend.
We bounced around from different homes. I lived with his mother, he lived with my mother, and then we decided, like, we don't want to abide by nobody's rules. You know, renegade for life. We're gonna do our own thing.
You're what? You're in the game of life?
Renegade for life.
Oh, renegade for life. Okay.
So we got our own apartment, and it wasn't like everything was okay up until the point where it was like I lost my first job.
Okay, when did that happen?
Coming up on Judge Faith, helping friends can sometimes end up being a bad idea.
He was a brother to me. He's family. I wasn't going to put family on the street. I know what it's like not to have none. Yeah, everybody said it was a bad idea.
And that's a costly move because
yes,
you don't put family on the street, but you're here in court today suing family.
Yes,
you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Plaintiff Christopher Cole says he evicted his friend from his apartment because he has too many unpaid bills. Defendant Tariq Allen says he was illegally evicted and that he owes nothing.
Okay.
So we got our own apartment, and it wasn't like everything was okay up until the point where it was like I lost my first job.
Okay, when did that happen?
That happened, I would say, August of 2013.
Okay, so what was the agreement, though, in terms of how much you would pay in rent and utilities each month?
It was $550.
Do you have a copy of the lease, sir?
The one I tried to get in touch with my landlord to get it. It was really like she just gave me the runaround. I couldn't get a secure copy of the lease.
So you don't have a copy of the lease?
No.
Okay, all right. Since he agrees that you were going to pay how much, $550 a month for the time period that you lived there,
yes,
I'm going to assume that how much was the total amount in rent?
Originally in November it was $1,050. That was the grand
and you
total.
were going to split that 3 ways.
Yes.
And then the two of you decided to add on additional money for utilities.
Yes.
And so what was the 3-way split in terms of what you... Let me finish. And so what was the 3-way split in terms of what each of you would pay?
Okay, for each of us, it was $500. That $500 included everything from...
But you say $550.
Yeah.
It was $550. It was just a little bit extra, just in case from bills.
Okay.
More or less, it was just to cover lights, cable, and rent. Everything
Got
else.
it. Got it. So you say you were paying on time up until you lost your job, which was when?
August 2013.
Okay, what happened then?
I was working a double shift as a security guard for Strike Force Protective Searching.
Well, I understand you say you lost your job.
Yes.
But what happened in terms of you, in terms of your agreement with them to pay the rent and utilities?
Everything was being paid when I had the job. It was like once I fell on hard times, then things got kind of hard to get to.
Okay, so you stopped paying rent.
Yes.
Okay, so you all moved into the apartment November of 2012, and you stayed all the way up until May 2014.
Yes.
You lost your job and you stopped paying rent around November of 2013.
Yes.
So is it your testimony that that entire year, November 2012 to November 2013, you were paying rent and utilities?
Yes.
And you never missed a payment?
No, I did miss a couple payments. Things were kind of late. Because I was on, by that time,
in November 2013, before you lost your job, were you up to date on everything?
Yes, I was up to date on everything.
And you say something different?
Wrong. Absolutely wrong.
Okay.
He paid maybe once, twice, maybe 3 times. Other than that.
For the entire year?
For the year. The entire year. And it was like, he is right. Things became difficult. And if anything, he didn't have me or Mr. covered.
Okay, and why would you do that for an entire year?
He was a brother to me. He's family. I wasn't going to put family on the street. I know what it's like not to have nothing. So it was more like, yeah, everybody said it was a bad idea. Everybody told me, Mr. told me. Everyone told me it's a bad idea. However, I didn't see it that way. He's family. I don't put family on the street.
And that's a costly move because you don't put family on the street, but you're here in court today suing family.
Yes,
you see what I'm saying?
Yes, I know. But it came down to, it wasn't supposed to get to this level.
But you say that there was a different arrangement.
Yes,
because
there
what
really
was that
was.
arrangement?
Okay, Your Honor, what Mr. Cole over here has failed to put out there is that we came up with an agreement after I lost my job, I went on welfare, I got food stamps. I got food stamps, and he was like, okay, if you put food in the house, I'll take care of your half of the rent.
That's after you lost your job?
Yes.
Okay, so November 2013, you have this arrangement, he's gonna pay in food stamps. The next month, ma'am, December of 2013, that's when you move in.
Incorrect. I moved in November 2013, and even before I moved in, I was helping with things that were missing from Mr. Allen.
Hold on for a second. So November 2013, you lose your job.
Yes.
There's this agreement that you would pay in food stamps, and then you move in the same month. Mm-hmm. And the agreement is you're going to move in because you're going to help pay rent at that point.
Yes, he was covering whatever he could cover in money and food stamps, and I would pay the difference for his room. So
does anybody have a record of any of this? How much money he was giving and when?
I have a record of what he had. I have affidavits from the new roommate that was after Chianti moved in.
Do you have a record of what money he was giving you and when each month?
No. I didn't think to go through a paper trail to friends. Like, assume he put the pay.
It's kind of hard for me to pay rent and then also got to feed a woman that looks like Fiona from Shrek and then feed a man that looks like Shrek. I'm sorry, I'm not built out of money. I can't sit here and help everyone eat, you feel me?
Now, Judge Faith rules.
From when you moved in 2012 all the way to November of 2013 when you say you lost your job, how many times do you think you paid?
Your Honor, if I had to roughly guess, I say I paid maybe 3 times out of that. But what Mr. Cole has failed to also tell you that
this is the part where you say, I know I still owe for utilities that were not paid, and I know I owe for a part of that, and I need to pay that. Mr. Allen, based on the testimony I've heard here from both sides today, I'm going to order you to pay the full amount that the plaintiff is seeking in this case. Judgment in favor of the plaintiff, $3,500.
If you or someone you know has a dispute, don't take the law into your own hands. Let Judge Faith rule on it for you. To submit your case, go to judgefaith.com and tell us your story. See you in court.